Hi, my name is Nick. I'm 32 and I am hard stuck gold in League of Legends. In this video, I'm going to go through my notes in Notion for all the things that I've done so far to improve my gameplay, and I'm just going to lay them all out. So if you want to watch this video and see if there's anything you can take away from this, there's tons of useful information here. So let's get into it. I'm not going to keep it too long. Cheers. What I want to do today is I'm just going to play through these clips. It's about 20 minutes, so we have 20 minutes to chat here. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk through things that I've done in order to get better at League of Legends. In the past, I've climbed to Gold 1 before, but it was very hard, and this time I feel like I got there relatively easily. So I'm going to talk about the things that I've changed or the things that I've paid attention to after working with 2 coaches and just watching videos from YouTube. Although I really would recommend coaching to anyone who's really struggling to climb. They pointed out things that directly gave me feedback to help me improve. So I just immediately started climbing after having the sessions. Even though you would think you could get everything you need from the internet, it was kind of like I had blind spots or something, and it was hard for me to recognize mistakes that I was actually making. Earlier love this Nami play, by the way, EQing through the bubble. She really loved that. She was pretty unhappy about that. Okay, so here's a list of things that I'm currently working on. There's 15 items in this list. Number 1 is don't fight without my ultimate unless it's free. So if I don't have my ultimate, I will just ping my jungler off of a play unless they're like extremely low health or I can flash and get a really simple kill. It's really not great for me to fight without my ultimate. And this also applies to summoners. You want to fight when you're as strong as possible, like maybe after you get an item. So that's number 2, is try to back when you have a good buy. On Riven, there's 2 really good buys that I can do. One is I buy Ionian boots in lane, just because of Jack of all trades is so strong. And also when I get Eclipse, like when I first get Eclipse, I want to back immediately and go buy it because I know I can usually fight, especially if my opponent doesn't have their first item yet. I just win in almost every matchup. It's just that strong. So if I can, after getting a kill, try to crash the wave, but don't die for it, and then get back to lane. So like anytime you get a kill, even if your opponent ends up being slightly ahead in levels, if you can crash the wave, you can wait for it to come back to me. Or if I can crash the wave, I can wait for it to come back to me, and then everything evens out except I have an item advantage. So yeah, knowing how that works is awesome. On Ari or a control mage, this is because I play mid just a little bit, right? Using something like W with electrocute. This is an awesome play. The new just straight up inted. On Ari with electrocute, you can abuse that to basically get like really good trades while also using only like 30 mana. So using a small amount of mana to get a really big trade in lane for free is awesome. That's why she's so good at basically just like little short trades. This one's a huge one for me. Do not leave lane for too long and don't drop waves. So like in the higher elos, what I've learned is people don't just leave and drop waves unless there's some kind of big benefit that they're going to get out of it, because they know it'll set them behind for a long time if they drop waves. You're basically getting gold and experience, and so like if you leave lane to get 1 kill, it has to be worth, I mean, at least the same amount of gold, but then you're also losing experience, so it's really not worth it. So what I would do is I would just leave lane and try to go gank mid, and even if I would kill them, I would come back and my opponent would be a level up on me, right? And that's like a huge deal. We're talking about, like, if your opponent is a level up on you, you can use that as a general metric to determine if they're going to beat you. And so yeah, if you just leave lane, you just give your lane opponent the ability to beat you in lane now, and that's a huge problem. So what you can do is, if you can kill a tower or your tower gets killed, you can shove to the wave, or you can shove to the tower, and then you basically have a timer, like a little bit of time that you can leave, and that's a way that you can roam without dropping waves. But before those first towers fall, it's pretty much, like in general, not good to just leave and roam. So just don't do that. Unless you're fighting for like grubs or something. Okay, at 30 minutes, pretty much every game, you're going to have, or maybe sooner, 25 minutes, you're going to have some fight that is going to end the entire game, right? And so it's really important that you are as strong as possible for that fight. So getting kills in lane or fighting over dragon doesn't matter as much as just making sure that you're farmed and strong for that final fight. So I don't know, it's just like an interesting long-term, you know, thought process for how to win games. You buy anti-heal versus Yumi or any really annoying healers as early as you can. In lane, this means that if you're fighting against something that has healing, you should probably have Ignite, and otherwise you can have TP, at least in top lane. So like I take Ignite every time versus something like a Warwick, but I'm not going to take it against Garen because it's just like I don't need it. And the TP is just so valuable. So TP is an awesome summoner to have. Try to take it as much as I can unless I absolutely need Ignite. Don't opt for TP and buy Executioners. It delays my buy too much. So that was a big mistake that I was making that lost me several games, actually. When you're behind, you're basically just supposed to take what you can get, right? You can't force plays when you're behind. Your job is to just try and like literally just soak up the crumbs, right? Like you're trying to just stay relevant. So definitely like a good thing to think about is if you're behind, you want to just basically try to get farm. I think everybody kind of knows this, but it really is true. You can actually just farm your way back into the game with good macro. And I've seen, especially in the lower elos, where my opponent might be ahead and they're beating me, and then they just go start grouping or they start just running around the map, and I'm just clearing waves, and at some point I'm 2 levels up on them, and I kill them even though I'm behind in KDA. So, yeah. Oh, so in draft, this is kind of interesting. Jungle support is synergy for your team, and top jungle is a synergy for basically how your lane's going to go. So if I have a Volibear and they have a Nidalee, then I know that our 2v2 skirmish is really powerful because we have a lot more CC than they do. So something like that. So try to think about your 2v2 top lane to determine if you guys win fights or whether you want to contest grubs. Another mistake around grubs specifically is that I would go try to contest the grubs 1v2 if my jungler was bot, if they were low or something, but I've died a lot of times doing that. So right now I just try not to. I might try to like get them to chase me or something if I have time and I'm not losing waves, of course. But I won't just go all in and try to kill them, basically. I'll just try to slow down their progress if I can without losing any XP or waves. Oh, so in the mid game, don't just go to the closest wave. You want to look at the next neutral objective. So if I have TP, what I do is I go to the opposite side of the objective. So if Baron is top, I'm going to go bot lane, and I'm going to try to get my other, teammates to go to the other lanes so they're closer to Baron. If I have Ignite, though, then I'm going to try to play closer to the objective. So I will not go bot with Baron up. Or like, let's say the next objective is Dragon, then you can still do it. But whatever the next objective is, the one that's currently soonest, or the one that you want to play as close to that as possible if you have Ignite. Whereas if you have TP, then you want to play as far away as possible because you can always obviously come. And another thing to note about TP that I watched in a video that I think is pretty helpful is TP is a lot longer than it used to be. And so what I do is I try to TP to a fight that I know I want to take early rather than TPing reactively because it just takes so much time. You're going to get there after the team fight is done. So you want to go there early. So this is one that I'm probably not practicing as much, but I took this from a video. Basically, try to commit to your decisions if you have a reason for doing it. The problem is basically like you'll have a decision that you're making, but you'll have to commit to it. And when you do that, what ends up happening is you get the worst of both worlds. Like maybe, let's say you decide you're not going to go to this Baron fight, you're going to split push, and then after everyone's like, almost half dead, you decide to TP, and then your team loses the team fight because you weren't there, and you die, and you also didn't get a tower. So you want to pick one of these options and go. So either TP early and be there for the Baron fight, or don't TP and just do the split push and just accept that you were late because you decided not to go. if your teammates are toxic, this is huge for me. Just mute all. Like their communications usually don't matter at all, and I actually tilt pretty hard from people just telling me that I'm bad. I've had games where I'm, or even people telling other people that they're bad. Let's say I'm 5-0 top. I'm really strong, and someone starts talking shit about my jinx. I will just throw the game. Like I don't know how to describe it. It's just how it is. So if you need to, just mute. um, okay, this one is a bit explicit. It's like very specifically from Perry Jungle. It says farm your damn waves, and like I cannot stress this enough. That is extremely useful advice. Where you just want to, as a laner, your job is just to kill minions. Like it's not to kill your laner. It's not any of this stuff. It's just like get waves. Like kill waves, you will just get strong. People will also come to you and just like int to you after you've become strong. Like you're just pushing waves, you're creating tons of pressure, and someone will just come up, and if they haven't been farming their waves, they'll just be behind. So anyway, on that note, after a fight, don't chase people because you might waste time. Let's say even 4 seconds chasing someone and coming back turns into 8 seconds because of the round trip. And then if you you basically lose the opportunity to crash the tower, like this could turn into much more gold just pushing waves. So and getting towers. So at the end of a fight, like here at Kill the Shaco, I should not chase this Shen, right? That's I should just go back to my wave and start shoving immediately. When starting a team fight as Riven, I want to try to find a flank. Don't just run at them straight, because the problem is they'll just kite back. What you want to do is try to engage from the side where they didn't know you were there, and then that way you have your full Q combo up, and you didn't have to spend as much queuing to gap close, which is also another thing. You should always do a Q delay, which is basically just where you're spacing out your Q timer so that you always have it up. And so if you combine this with the flank or you combine this with flash, you can basically just get into the thick of the fight and have all of your cooldowns up, which is obviously really good. So I paid for 2 coaches. I got coaching from a semi-pro player and from a high diamond driven player. And after the first session, I took these notes. It says, don't take risky plays later in the game. So basically, like, try not to die. Don't coin flip things. Coin flip is basically where you just like you try to fight someone who's equally or very close to your power level, and basically you end up dying, right? So like you're coin flipping the game, because if you make a mistake or they outplay you somehow, you could just lose the entire game off that. So you want to try not to do that kind of thing. You really want to take plays that you know you can win, especially late, because literally 30 minutes is going to come down to this one decision. So versus easy mashups, you can punish them until they get armor. So like this is for Sion. You want to really punish him as hard as possible, but then as soon as he buys armor, you have to kind of chill out, because it's going to be very hard for you to kill him, and you might take a bunch of like kind of iffy trades. Maybe you guys are equal percentages, but then their jungler might come and gank you, and you can throw your whole lead if you let a tank get super ahead of you. So that's really bad. Let's see. Oh, so when to take TP or Ignite. So Ignite is for basically it's for lanes where you Ignite is for lanes that heal a lot, or for lanes that are really easy. TP is for a lane that is one that maybe you struggle at, right? Because then you can basically like try not to die. You can also, like, if you take a bad trade, you can try to TP back into lane to keep up levels wise, which is really important. So let's say the Warwick lane like needs Ignite, but I know I'm not going to kill him in lane because I just don't know how to beat him. Then what I would do instead is I would just take TP and try to stay relevant. The Warwick's probably not going to kill me, and so I'm just going to try to just keep up in levels and experience. So TP for a hard lane if you don't know how to win it. For me, that's a set lane versus set. Like, I have to take TP just for the simple fact that I don't know how to win it. So it's very important for me to just stay relevant. If you're a one-trick pony, you should learn your matchups and become extremely good at like understanding what the hard parts are or what like how to beat each matchup. One of the coaches that I met with literally gave me a spreadsheet of every single matchup that happens in top lane for Riven, and some notes about how to beat them basically. I used to read Reddit or try to look it up before the game, but it's so nice to have a spreadsheet just there that has every single matchup that you would want to know, and you can just quickly tap to it and read it. It has notes about like when you win, if you can abuse them early, stuff like this. Like for example, on Cho'Gath, it's very important that you zone them for the first 3 minions so that you can maintain a lead. If you don't do this, you pretty much just lose the lane level 1 because they're going to scale to infinity, and you can't abuse them for nearly as long. So it's huge to just try to fight them. Well, you basically push them off the wave level 3 or level 1, and you can zone them for 3 minions. And you actually do this against Mundo. You do this against Kale. So there's a couple champions where like this is just really important that you do this, and you have to know. So the spreadsheet literally tells me zone the level 1, and that tells me okay, I'm supposed to make them miss 3 minions. And then you can kind of look up how to do that, but yeah, super important. Let's see how much time we got. Okay, we got about 6 minutes left, so I'm gonna try to get through the rest of this. After the coaching with the masters level player or semi-pro, he recommended that I learn the third QR flash combo, which I have learned. I can now do this, and it's becoming more muscle memory. I spend some time practicing combos every day, so that's been really helpful. It says, if I get a kill, shove the wave always back, and then the wave will come back to me. Don't stay, it's not good. They temporarily even out levels, but you get XP after. I actually touched on this earlier, but yeah, just you get a kill. If you can do it without dying to the jungler, you want to shove your wave and come back with an item advantage. So just do that every time, and over time maybe you can learn some more nuance, but in general that is just good. Don't try to bait by using Q. So I used to try to like show my opponents that I'm using certain cooldowns to get them to go in, but that's really not good, and sometimes I even die for it. So obviously like don't use your cooldowns to bait them in if you're going to lose. Like that's absolutely terrible. And even if like if I used to do it where maybe I'd take a bad trade but I'd win slightly, but then now I'm just low on health, and so it's really not that good. So don't try to bait too hard unless you're maybe for a gank or something. Another big one for Riven is don't just randomly E. It's just not good to randomly E. So in lane, you want to hold your E and try to tank as much damage as possible with it. That sounds very intuitive, but like on Riven, you just get used to dashing around all the time. And like I would just E to like position for a CS or something. I would literally walk away from the minion wave and then E in so I could last hit like a melee minion or something, and then my opponent would just kill me. So like that's terrible. Always get vision or information about the enemy jungle before all in. I actually do this. It sounds like it's a pain, but you can do this very consistently. I basically just ward the river or try to figure out where the jungler is before I try to fight. And then another one is I use that to determine when I can proxy as well, which is really OP because you can basically get more tempo by walking away. So yeah, track the jungler. So like if you see the jungler just took dragon and your laner is low, but you can't kill them because they're a tank or something, but you can just go proxy a wave, I'll just proxy. It's like a huge advantage. And then if I proxy, I can either kill mid or I can back and get a free back without missing any minions, which means I have an item advantage now. So that's huge. Okay, if an objective is up, then the jungler will likely be there. So like if grubs are up, I haven't seen their jungler, and I have an opportunity to fight my laner, and my jungler's not there, I'm weak-sided, right? I don't know if I'm weak-sided, but I could be, and it's very likely that I am, so I just don't fight in that situation. This is a really good review because this will help to solidify all of this for me. Press tab more and check items. Okay, I do this a lot now. Like when I first get my Eclipse and I get back to lane, I know that I'm strong because Eclipse is just a huge power spike, but I want to know if my opponent has their power spike too, right? So like, let's say I get back and I look at Jax's items and he doesn't have a full item. I know I can win, but if I get back and he has Triforce, it's like, okay, yeah, you have Eclipse, but he has Triforce, so you probably still are pretty even. You shouldn't coin flip that. So you always want to figure out if you have more items. Also, sometimes you'll find out, oh, my opponent never backed right there. They just walked and maybe like helped their jungler or something, and they have like a pickaxe, and I have Eclipse. It's like, no matter what I do, if I fight 1v1, this guy's going to lose. So that's huge. So yeah, I click on people and try to figure out what items they have a lot more. It's super, super useful. Learn when it's okay to recall. So yeah, basically just figuring out like when to back in lane and how to, yeah, basically just how to back without losing any minions or experience. Play around strong teammates. Okay, so this is really important. Your bot lane is feeding. You want to play around mid and jungle. Like you just write them off. Or your mid lane's feeding, but your bot lane's super strong, and you have like a Jinx or something. It's like, okay, all I have to do to win this entire game is just keep Jinx alive, right? I might even be losing top lane. Let's say I'm 1-3 Riven, but my Jinx is down in bot lane with 9 kills. Literally, the entire objective of the game at that point becomes, we'll switch to full camera here. The entire objective of the game becomes just trying to keep Jinx alive. Keep Jinx alive. The game is pretty much won. Yeah, on the items thing, you should know which items give you a power spike and make your champion really strong. So like for me, I know that getting Ionian boots in lane means that I can start to Q delay, which is really good, and then another power spike when I get Eclipse. If I have those two things and my opponent doesn't have their item yet, I just know I can win. Instead of trying to like trade and trying to like calculate in my head like how much damage do I do, how strong am I, you can literally just know based on items. There's still like some learning around how much damage you can do that you can figure out, and like you get better at this over time, but you don't have to coin flip it as hard if you just know that you're very, very up. Also, sometimes junglers will gank you like this as well. They'll come and gank you and they have like boots and you have like a pickaxe. It's like, okay, you just win that. So always figure out what your opponent has. I'm just going to address a couple comments I got in the last video. Number one was people not believing that I'm gold. So I'll link both my accounts down below. It's Kicksent and Oreo Dunking. And if you look them up, you'll see that the peak is gold 1 on Kicksent and I think gold 2 on Oreo. I've never climbed above that in the entire time I played League of Legends, so you could just verify that for yourself. The second thing that I got is that I got some advice not to pay for coaching yet, and I just want to counter by saying that, guys, I was literally desperate to figure out how to get out of this elo, and I really wanted to climb, so I will do whatever it takes to be able to make improvements. And yeah, basically paying for coaching was like just the most direct thing that I could do to figure out what I was doing wrong. That's all for today. The next video is going to be a montage of me reaching platinum, so stay tuned for that.